Podcast day.
What's new?
Not much. What's new with you?
I helped a friend move today, so that's going to be my topic for the day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you tell us about it?
It was fun. That's it. No. He's moved into a permanent place now. So they bought a place with his girlfriend, and it was an interesting move because there were like 8 people all helping. So at some points there was like a chain of at least 4 handing things off one by one. You know how like you have a chain of people, and it's pretty efficient to do that.
Yep.
And yeah, I think it went pretty well. The assumption was that we would be moving until, we started at like 9:30 a.m. We would be moving till 3 p.m. or even a bit later, but we finished at like noon, basically, maybe 12:30. So the rest of the time was just hanging out.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, moving's good.
That's the second
Nice,
time I
fresh
helped
start.
him move.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so the first time was to the place that he just moved away from. Now it's to the permanent place.
That's good. Saves a few extra dollars to get your friends to help move. And
I think it's even faster, honestly, because like if you have so many people, I don't know, I feel like we did a pretty damn good job because there was a lot of stuff.
that's good. Yeah, moving can suck.
Yeah, now they have the wonderful task of building all this stuff.
Yeah.
But to their benefit, the girlfriend's friends are coming tomorrow, I think, and they're going to build some of it as well, help out with that.
Oh, yeah?
So basically, they got their entire friend group. Half of them are the movers, half of them are the builders. It works out really well, I think.
Hold on. Are these the friends that had you come over and clean their pool
No,
a couple of years ago?
I mean, so the guy that's my friend who I helped move. He's the one who really knew about cleaning pools.
Yep.
So if you remember that's the guy.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's a different pair.
Got it. When I moved from my old place to this place,
Uh-huh.
I didn't have a lot of stuff, right? I started new for a lot of it.
Yeah, because you bought all your nice stuff, all your nice furniture when you actually moved, right? Afterwards.
Yeah. So I just had really a handful of things, boxes of books, video games, my computer desk, computer chair, like even my bed and all that I bought when I moved. So I was able to just do it by myself and just crank it out in a couple hours. I think it was just one van trip.
And most of the bulk was probably like the chair, for example, because otherwise you'd have just boxes which you could arguably fit in a car.
Yeah. The bulk was things like my shelving and the few shelving I do have, and my computer desk and my, like you said, my chairs and my computer chair and my living room chair, and that was it. So that was my favorite move. But now, if and when I have to move again from this place, I have significantly more.
You got a crap ton of stuff now.
Yeah, now I got a bunch of stuff.
And it's good
so now I
stuff
have
too,
to
so
get-
it's not like you can just forgo it and just say, "Oh yeah, you can have it," or it's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try to sell it for cheap." No, you want to keep
exactly.
that stuff.
That's right. So now next time I am gonna have to get movers. So
Just hire the homeless people on your street.
that's right. There you go.
I keep telling you, you got to make use of your environment, but I think you're too honest for that. You don't wanna be cheap with them. I wonder any news on the red light apartment or house nearby?
No.
No?
They've normalized.
Oh, that's too bad.
They've normalized. It's all good.
The cops came by and said, "You got to stop the human sacrifices."
There was a cop that came to the house here
To your house,
last week, I think it was.
but to yours.
Yeah.
Wow. What'd you do?
And I guess it was, don't worry about it. All right. Think I'm going to admit that publicly? I'm not going to admit that publicly.
Hey, we could believe it. I'm sorry. I killed beep, beep, beep.
No, they're for the downstairs neighbors. I don't know. I think one of the kids got into a fight with another kid or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because I saw the car outside at night, and I was like, it's not an uncommon occurrence for the cops to just like sit outside. I don't know. I guess this road.
It's a dangerous neighborhood, right?
We had that shooting last February, right? And
maybe it's time for another one, right?
I guess. Well, I guess there was 2 stabbings also in the last 6 months.
2 stabbings. Wow.
Yeah.
Like at the same time or just different occurrences?
No, different occurrences.
Oh, that's pretty bad then.
I don't know. That's what I found out from the neighbors on. I was talking to them on Halloween. They said that there was some stuff going around.
Like an illness. Oh, did you hear about the stabbing there? Yeah, I mean, it's spreading.
Well, this is where, like, you get the homeless people, and, a lot of people will say, oh, homeless people are largely safe and all that, and, they're either tweaked out or, down on their luck or whatever, but I think they're not necessarily not dangerous.
Oh,
I
so
think they're,
were the stabbings
yeah.
done by homeless people?
I don't know necessarily. I don't think it's a coincidence. I mean, maybe it is, but the neighbors have told me before that, stuff has gone missing from the backyard and the porch and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, that's good. It's a good thing I don't go outside.
Yeah, inside is the safest. You just have to get bulletproof walls. That's the only thing that's missing right now. You got to make sure you're safe from the stray bullets.
That's right. Yeah, I don't want to get hit by any of the stray bullets, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything personally other than, like I said, I heard that shooting and, whatever, but, I haven't seen anything bad personally, but it's hard to tell though, because I live down the road from a police station and a fire hall, and, you hear the sirens like all the time, just blaring, but, it's a big area too, so it's not necessarily uncommon, but, yeah, I don't know, whatever. But anyways, so I saw him parked outside last week. I think it was last week. And I'm like, oh, there's cops again, sitting around staking somebody out.
Did you wave? Did you say hi?
No, I didn't wave.
Hi, Mr. Police Officer. You want a donut?
Good to see you again. Yeah. Yeah, the amount of times they're around here, I should have some snacks for them.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I'm being serious about that. I'm not even being like, what's the word? Facetious. I would want a donut.
Just throw donuts out the window like they're birds.
It's like a giant bird poop on the windshield. Oh, what the hell's that? Oh, it's a donut.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So then they came to the door, and then I was able to listen because we got like the common hallway, right? I was only able to hear a little bit, but it sounded like, I don't know, it sounded like one of the kids got into a fight with another kid.
To death.
And then they went into their place, and I couldn't hear them anymore.
But was it a fight to the death?
I doubt it.
Well, why would the cops be involved then? It's weird.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Unless the kids are like killing each other. Isn't it just up to the parents?
Not if the others, I don't know, but they were involved. But yeah, so it was one of those situations where sometimes you see those videos of nosy neighbors like seeing the cops down the road, and they'll like go outside to vacuum so they can get a better view.
And you were doing that.
Yeah, but I it was clear enough that I just held my ear up to the door.
I mean, you could have. Why not? You could have just opened your door, sat on the staircase. Not like anybody's going to say anything, right? It's just your right to listen.
Yeah,
I have a right to eavesdrop on what you're saying, police officer.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it was garbage night, so I was like, oh, I should take my garbage out and
You know, it'd be funny.
get a better listen.
You know, it'd be hilarious if you took the garbage out and you just to make a joke, you hide like an arm shape in your garbage so it's sticking out, and you pass it by the cop and see if they recognize that, hey, that's an arm, and then they try to do something. It's a good way to tell whether they're paying attention.
Oh, they'd be distracted.
Well, then you could easily get away with murder, is what you're saying.
Well, not trying
Hide
to
the
do
body
that,
parts
so.
in the garbage bags. Jeez, just cut them up and each one gets a part. Not that heavy when they're individualized like that.
There you go. But yeah, I'm not trying to do that, so we're just gonna let that one go.
Of course, you wouldn't reveal that on the podcast anyway. That's between you and the red light district house.
That's right, and that's what I said earlier. But yeah, so that's my cop story.
Which started about moving and hiring homeless people to help you move.
Yeah, I don't know how I got on that, but we did. We got there.
You're just telling me how dangerous your neighborhood is. That's all. So you're not allowed to hire. You're not able to hire friendly homeless people.
I'm definitely not going to do that. Even if I was able to, I wasn't going to.
I get it.
I would rather them just do their thing, and I'll just be like, yeah, I'll be over here in my house. Sorry about your luck. I wish the government treated you better, but
no house for you.
This isn't one of those situations where I'm going to be the change I want to see. So
be the change you want to see? What does that even mean? Sometimes I see that phrase. I often see that phrase. Or I used to often see that phrase. Not as much anymore. But what does that even mean? Like, let's say you want homeless people to have a home. What is that? How would that? Would you invite them into your home? Is that being to be the change you want to see? Or would you build them a home out of cardboard?
I don't know. I don't think there's one answer
to do
to that.
something, I guess, right? That's what they mean by that.
Yeah.
They could just call it do something. That's much shorter, much more likely people will remember it.
Yeah, but you have to say something that's catchy.
Just do it. Oh wait, somebody has that already.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah.
So Nike had it earlier.
That's right. Now we're using it for the homeless people.
And I guess just do it isn't exactly specific. You don't know what it is, and you don't know what you're doing. But honestly, be the change you want to see is also kind of unspecific, I would say.
No, it's not.
Well, no, it is. Again, what change?
Yeah, but again, it's got to apply to everything. And it's got to cover, it doesn't have to be specific. Be the change you want to see. Is there change that you want to see in the world?
Mm-hmm.
Start working towards it yourself. That's what it is.
So if you want to reduce the amount of plastic, you got to start eating your share of plastic.
Well, no, that's not.
But you could.
I mean, I guess you could.
If everybody ate a plastic bottle once a day, I think we could make a dent.
Then everybody would die.
Well, yeah, but we could make a dent.
Great, and everybody would be dead.
I don't think you'd die from one plastic bottle from eating
a day.
Well, maybe a day, but how many days would it take? Let's be honest. I mean,
probably not many. Many days.
How much microplastic do we have nowadays? I bet you can get away with maybe once a month and still be fine. Remember, we talked about that guy who was eating metal constantly.
Yeah, good for him.
I mean, it's metal, so maybe it's healthier than plastic. I wonder how much plastic he ingested in all that time. That's a good experiment to run. How many plastic bottles can a human eat before they succumb to plastic poisoning?
Be the change you want to see, Raji, and
start eating plastic. You're right.
Put it on YouTube.
Put it on YouTube. Eating plastic.
You're looking for that next great YouTube video for our channel. Just this can be the one.
What's a catchy title for that, you think? I guess it has to be really clickbaity, though. It has to be something that's like, you wouldn't believe how quickly I died from eating this plastic bottle.
No, it just has to be something like we solved the...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We solved the plastic crisis.
We solved... what is the crisis in that case? It's not global warming. It's just pollution? No, it's not.
Yeah.
But it's not pollution. I mean...
Well, it is. Bottles get into the ocean and the water, and they mess up wildlife. And
I guess it is pollution. It's a different type of pollution.
Piles up because it doesn't degrade, and
and then the underwater sea creatures start using it as currency.
That is true. So maybe we shouldn't get rid of plastic because we don't want to mess up the economy under the sea.
Only people who have played Another Crab's Treasure will understand that joke.
That's true. Well, in other news, this will be old news by the time this podcast hits the airwaves, but tomorrow TikTok is banned in the United States.
End of an era.
End of an era. End of millions of Americans, doing stupid dances that don't involve your feet. They do little hand wavy things.
Oh, you don't like those videos?
No.
Oh, come on. That's just people having fun and trying to go viral.
I don't watch TikTok for the stupid little dances.
What do you watch it for?
I like sometimes there's small clips of old TV shows.
Okay, but so I get
general interest.
I get the stuff that because I remember you mentioned comedians and all that.
Comedians,
what about
cat? I like cat videos.
Okay, so that's an interesting one. Yeah. So no, I mean, I'm wondering what original content you watch on it, not just stuff that's kind of scrubbed from other sources.
I don't watch much original content on
cat videos, I guess, right?
Yeah. Animal stuff. Sometimes there's birds on there. Crazy birds.
Oh yeah, okay. You're a fan of birds?
Crazy birds. Some
people are afraid of birds,
Yeah, some people are afraid of everything.
No, but birds, some people are actually afraid.
There's literally nothing wrong with birds.
They could be robots. We talked about this, right? Birds aren't real, right?
I'm thinking, I don't remember that conversation. I don't wish to revisit it. Everybody has fears, and a lot of them are irrational. Maury Povich was a good source to laugh at that back in the day.
Oh yeah, because he talked to people who had fears.
Yeah, he used to have episodes that was just based on fears.
Right.
And then he'd make them confront it.
Because there was scientific
pure
evidence.
Entertainment. No, who cares? No, because it's a TV show and it was entertaining to millions of people.
I get it. For what it's worth, I do think that if you look at the scientific research around it, that is part of how you treat it, is by
Well, because the
confrontation.
fact of the matter is, most fears are stupid.
Well, they're irrational.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're afraid of fucking clowns or something like that, what's the easiest way to get over that? Just like get a logical perspective that clowns
Become
are
a
not
clown.
dangerous.
No, become a clown.
There you go. Make them become a clown.
I think the easiest way to get rid of certain fears, not everything, but I think certain fears are ones where it's like if you become the thing you're afraid of, you're halfway there. You got to look at it. You got to look at yourself in the mirror every day. So you become a clown if you're afraid of clowns. What's another fear? Like people are afraid of insects. Just wear a getup that makes it look like you're just an insect, or well, yeah, even that would work. Why not?
What if you're afraid of sock puppets?
Sock puppets? Just put a sock on your head and you're done.
Is that all?
Yeah, I think so. Isn't that what a sock puppet is? It's just a sock with some buttons on it.
That just makes you a sock puppet?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, good to go.
Yeah. Well, then you just look like a robber, actually. If you put a sock on your head, it's big enough, you could just look like a robber. So maybe maybe there's some trauma there. Maybe people who are afraid of sock puppets are actually afraid of robbers who don't accessorize well.
True.
What's another one, though? That's interesting. I want to know. I want to see what other things we can come up with that
What do you mean?
people could dress up as.
Everything's
No,
Well,
because you
no, we
can't.
don't
Like, if
have
you're
to-
afraid of heights, you can't dress up as heights.
Sure you can.
I don't know how.
Just put some stilts on.
That's true, I guess, yeah. It's hard to walk in stilts in all places, though, because if you're indoors, not every ceiling is tall enough for that. Oh, but if you're afraid of other people, you're afraid, like if you have agoraphobia, I guess, right? The fear of the outside world. You could dress up as other people. You could take their skin, wear it, a different person every day. Maybe that's how serial killers start.
There you go.
Yeah, we cracked it.
We did something. That's for sure. But anyways, rest in peace, TikTok.
Yes. Clock's ticking.
It's fascinating to me that a lot of people are like using justification for this. Like, a lot of people think this is stupid, me being one of them.
That is being banned?
For it being banned, yeah.
Oh, it is stupid.
But a lot of people are using justification for this in like, oh, well, China banned, Facebook, and China banned Google and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, congratulations. America took one more step towards just being China.
One step towards greatness, apparently.
The land of the free just silenced an entire media platform because they didn't like who owned it.
Yeah. Isn't that what America's striving to be?
Clearly, because they're not following their constitution or Bill of Rights or whatever it is anymore.
That's old school stuff. Nobody cares about that. Jeez.
Well, you're right. You are
Bill
right.
of what?
Yeah, exactly.
No one knows what that is. I don't know what that stuff is.
No.
Wait,
Well, we don't, 'cause
is TikTok
We're
banned?
Canadian. We don't have to know that.
Yeah, but is TikTok banned in Canada as well, or are they still sensible?
No.
Okay, so it's
No,
just
we're
America. Literally just the United States.
It's literally just the United States. Now, that being said, it's going to kill everything because I imagine the U.S. is probably if not the first and the top 3 biggest user of, probably second really after probably some Asian countries. So it probably will kill TikTok. But now the funny thing is all the users are going to this blatantly Chinese app.
Uh-huh.
Like, at least TikTok is like,
What's
who
it
cares
called
now?
again?
Red Note.
Red Note. That's right.
And they're like learning, apparently like Duolingo usage has spiked because they're all learning Mandarin.
Oh, because it's Chinese only, right? That app.
Yeah, so it's not going to end. And I guess they got 700,000 new signups in the last couple of days once it became, pretty serious that this is going to happen. So it's like America's just pushing Americans more towards China
Exactly.
by doing this.
Again, exactly what America wants to do, isn't it?
Well, no, they want to give the
One more step
mean-
towards greatness.
one more step towards greatness. Yeah, but they don't want it Chinese greatness. They want it their stuff. They didn't ban TikTok because they want to push people to another Chinese app. They banned TikTok because they wanted to push people, because they got millions of dollars. I guess the guy who made the bill invested a shit ton of money in Meta right before he introduced it.
Oh, I see.
And
So he shot himself in the foot.
Well, they were trying to push people to American companies, the Musk stuff. So not the
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg stuff.
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it'll have some sort of an effect, but I don't.
No, that's not going well either. Meta's not doing well with regards to trying to appease the right wingers.
Well, that's yeah.
All the left leaning people and centrists are like, nuts to this. I'm going on whatever the Chinese people provide me.
That's
That
right.
has more freedom.
Yeah, that has more freedom. Yeah, yeah. The Chinese app has more freedom for the Americans than the American stuff. But I don't know. America is a wonky place lately, man. You got all these billionaires getting involved. I read something yesterday. I don't know how true it is. I didn't do the math, and I don't really care to. I'm just gonna spew random things I saw online that you could take $6.4 trillion from the world's billionaires. There's not a lot of them, and they would still be billionaires. $6.4 trillion.
Only 6.4 trillion? I can't believe that could help anybody.
Yeah, yeah, really, really. It does seem a little bit lower than I would have thought, but it's still quite a chunk of change. It's still quite a chunk of change, and the billionaires would still be billionaires. I hope people wake up to the fact that, if there's one thing I could say here, I hope people wake up to the fact that the reason the quality of life is not the same as it was 30 years ago is not because, the reason everything is so expensive, the reason, healthcare is out of whack pretty much everywhere, the reason the cost of your eggs are expensive is not because gas is so expensive, is not because of left wing versus right wing craziness. It's not. It's low wage versus billionaires. It's not a political divide. It's a class divide. That's what it is. You shouldn't hate your neighbors because they have a different political opinion. You should be hating
your neighbor because they make more money than you.
That's right. Yeah. Well, something like that. I mean, obviously there's a big difference, but the billionaires are getting more and more greedy. Not even necessarily the billionaires, the millionaires, the billionaires, the corporate CEOs are getting more and more greedy, and the whole stockholder, shareholder, whatever stuff is constant growth without consequence, and people making more and more money that they don't need. And the only way you're going to do that is to, hurt the lower class. And now you're seeing these rich, powerful people, especially with the incoming U.S. administration, directly getting into politics. You got Musk that, did a lot for Trump in the election. Now he's going overseas to, he did a Twitter sit down or an X sit down, whatever, with a German political party, last week, 2 weeks ago.
That's right, the heavily far right leaning one.
Right, but this is what, as ridiculous as it sounds, it's like, oh, why are you getting in bed? People are very clearly going to see. You can sit down with with a billionaire, Twitter guy. People will very clearly see that they're the new age Nazi party. But the fact of the matter is that this kind of stuff works, where they'll go on X with Elon Musk and it's going to work. Like, they have way more support in Germany than I think a lot of rational individuals would believe was possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he's also getting involved in British politics. He's also getting involved in Canadian politics. So it's like these rich people, like, this is unheard of. 2020, this is unheard of that you have these and he's foreign. He's not even American. Elon Musk is African. So this is unheard of. And if anybody in the world had ever tried to do this in the past, they would have been arrested for, foreign interference. So, it's not left versus right. It's these billionaires and millionaires versus everybody else. And I think people need to understand that. And then everything will normalize again. But I don't think anybody's going to ever understand that. We're knocking on a new age, a new door, a new age. And, that's the way it's going to be. So this TikTok thing is not political. They say it's political. It's not political. It's just to get the tech CEOs, the billionaire techies, more money. That's what it is. Because there's no security. They're like, they're just going to sell your data to Chinese people. Yeah, well, guess what Facebook did like a year ago? That was a big thing that Facebook was selling their data to international organizations. So, Facebook's doing it too. What's the difference? Well, one is on the proper shores. That's it. And they want more money. So, I don't know. People need to wake up to that. That's my warning on the back of the TikTok ban. I, however, will still be on TikTok for a little bit because it's not going to make any difference to me and my 6 followers.
Well,
So,
exactly. And the whole point is, who knows? TikTok is, regardless, if TikTok is still popular elsewhere, why would it shut down in general?
yeah, no, it's not going to shut down. It's not going to shut down. But I think, especially if you're an English speaking user that's not in the US, I think your reach and all that kind of stuff is going to be
You got to make stuff make content
really, really less.
that is language agnostic. So like
That's true.
instead of using text in your subtitles, you change it to symbols, emojis,
Yep.
only emojis. And no talking as well. You got to just like bleep yourself. Anytime you say something, you just translate it to a bleep.
Exactly.
Make your own little language that people can tune into.
Now, there's a lot of people that think that this isn't actually going to go through. I think the Biden administration said they're just going to kick it down the road. Let the Trump
Kick
administration
the
deal with
can
it.
down the road. I love when that happens. I love when they just keep prolonging certain things and it just dies it gets to the point where it's like nobody even remembers what the hell the original was
Yeah,
about.
it's true. But they said that, and even Trump said, we'll figure out the TikTok thing and all that. And the other thing too is it was funny because they were banning the thing. They were banning this was when the talks was like originally started and like during the first ban. So what, a year ago, 10 months ago, something like that, where they were like, oh yeah, we're going to ban TikTok. And then a bunch of lawmakers came together and said, oh, we'll buy it. Like, we're going to get our group together and we're going to buy TikTok. So the other side of it is trying to get TikTok's, money and data and all that into American hands that way too. So, and Musk said, oh, maybe I'll buy TikTok. And then I guess I saw stories this week that said that they were talking, and I don't see them selling it to I don't see them selling it to anybody. They pretty much flat out refused and said they weren't going to sell to a U.S. company. They were going to shut it down.
Typical Chinese, don't want to play fair with anybody, right?
Yeah. Don't want to bend the knee to American oligarchy. Yeah.
It's funny to think that 50 years ago, people would be aghast at rooting for China, but now there's probably a huge chunk of people who are like, "Man, go China, go! Don't let them take your stuff."
Yeah, it's a weird sentiment, really. I don't know. The world is very, very interesting place, but so we'll see. We'll see. I mean, by the time people listen to this, TikTok may be banned, in which case everything I just said applies, or something will have changed and TikTok won't be banned. Now, of course, the way they're rolling out the ban, supposedly, but now TikTok also said, like, we're not leaving this like to the government. Like, we're going to remove it on Sunday unless they figure it out. So I think even the kicking the can down the road is not going to actually fix the problem, because I think TikTok plans to just like, they don't want to take any chances with fines and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. So they're just going to shut down.
So they're just going to shut it down.
Wow.
Take it off the App Store and all that, unless somebody comes and says, oh yeah, we're reversing the ban, or we figured this out or whatever. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting week in the social media sphere. I mean, it's going to be an interesting week in the government altogether, but in the U.S. government altogether. But it's going to be an interesting week in the social media sphere. But you're shielded from all that because you're banned.
That's right. I was banned first.
Yeah.
This is I guess some payback for me being banned from TikTok, is that America bans them.
That's right. You ban Igor and the entire country of America comes after.
That's right. Hey, I feel proud. I'm not even American and they're doing all this for me. Maybe I should be more supportive of America.
It was actually funny because this was in 2020. My workplace was, planning to go to a bunch of different places in May of that year. And so they were going to go to Italy, and then there was a thing in Ottawa that was happening. And I think there was something somewhere else. So we had more places to go than we had people to go to them, and they were all at the same time. So they asked me. They said, "Oh, do you want to go up to Ottawa and do the event up there?" And I was like, "No, not really." So they finally talked me into it, and I was dreading it. I was dreading it so much. And then the pandemic hit. So I was like, see, you pissed me off, and I'll kill millions of people so I don't have to go to Ottawa for work.
You're like Moses. You're like Moses.
That's right.
You brought about the plague.
Exactly.
Because the pharaohs wanted you to work, or you wanted the pharaohs to free the people.
That's right.
Did you
So
tell them
brought down
that?
the
Did you
plague.
give them the reason that you're just
I
Moses?
actually did.
the
I actually did
reincarnate?
joke about
Okay.
that. I actually joked about that a few times over the years. I said, "See, I didn't want to go to Ottawa. You tried to push me into it, so I just killed 15 million people in the world or whatever to make it not happen."
Well, that's the
There you
thing,
go.
right? You actually killed a lot of people. And people think like, oh, I murdered this person. No, Dustin killed millions of people.
I killed a lot of people, so I wouldn't have to go to Ottawa. Yeah, yeah. The source of the virus didn't come from China. It came from a small little place in Fort Erie, Ontario. Yeah, that's it. Kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing. You ban Igor on TikTok, and the whole app gets shut down. Well, let's talk about Bad Santa.
You watched the movie, right?
I watched the movie last night. Yeah.
I actually watched it at a proper hour because I did have to get up early
Oh.
this morning, so I couldn't do my usual
Oh,
4:30. So it's a little bit
You
more
should just
hazy.
watched it, and then you could have went and moved.
Yeah, and you mean in the morning right before? But
Yeah.
nah, I don't like watching in the mornings. I like to watch the thing and then
Then
go
go
to
bed.
sleep. Yeah.
And then you have a dream about it, and then that becomes your
Yeah, I guess
opinion on
my
the
my
movie.
epiphany.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we're reviewing Bad Santa from 2003, was it?
Yeah, it was an earlier movie. Yeah, it was an earlier movie than I thought. It really showed.
I thought it looked like it was set in the 80s or early 90s.
Yeah.
It did not
kinda.
look like 2003. I don't know.
No. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I was
no, it
watching
didn't.
like what the hell is this? Like why does it look like it's from the 90s?
Yeah, it kind of did.
But I don't know. This was definitely not my favorite movie. It was certainly, how did you put it?
Raunchy.
Raunchy, but you had another word last time. I forget what it was. Crude. I guess crude, but
Crude.
yeah, it's
Yep.
more crude than I normally watch.
Yep.
And I don't know. It's such an unbelievable situation. I find it hard
Well,
to
the whole thing was unbelievable.
No, but
like right from the get
I
go.
find it hard to believe that this. I mean, as a duo, them robbing the malls, whatever. But the fact that the main character, the one that Billy Bob Thornton plays, the fact that he got away with all the stuff he got away with makes no sense to me. I don't know how lenient are the police forces wherever he goes that he just keeps getting away with stuff.
Well, that's the thing is they've had a so they established what they've been doing it for 7 years or something like that. So they had an established pattern where it was like, I feel like it was probably a lot easier to like catch them than they made it seem. And that was the whole thing is that there were so many like impossible unlikely scenarios throughout the whole thing. Even the beginning when they actually robbed the mall. It's like you don't have any cameras in your mall. You set the alarm at night and that just shuts down literally everything.
Yeah, but you're right. No security cameras, and in both cases as well. No, I was mostly talking about when he's in I think Miami, right? And he goes to was it Miami? Anyway, one of the warmer places at that point.
Yeah.
And he goes to one of the, I guess it was a country club, and where they have a valet service. The valet is away. He takes all the keys.
He just grabs the keys, and I'm like, I don't know if even
and then
in the...
he uses each one on each car and like tosses the key away if he doesn't like the car, and eventually he gets to I guess the Dodge Viper or whatever he was driving at the end.
Yep.
And he just takes it. He sees that this person lives here or whatever. He goes to the person's house because I guess the house key is on the car key, so he doesn't even have to break in. He just unlocks it, goes inside.
Although a
does
person
whatever.
with that car and that nice of a house also would have a probably security system.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's not a key bait. That's based on like a code, right?
Yeah.
That you enter to
Yeah,
deactivate it. I don't know. Like that type of stuff kind of. They could have made
But the whole thing was like that, though. Like, it's not even just that. Like, even them getting hired as a mall Santa with John Ritter, and I was surprised to see John Ritter in it, but I think he played his role very, very well.
It was in loving memory of John Ritter, actually, this movie.
That's right. I saw that at the end, yeah. Yeah, so it must have been his last movie, or one of his last movies.
Yeah, what a way to go
And,
out on.
yeah. Listen, okay. So despite what we think about the movie received very unusually high praise. Like,
No, like
it was very well received.
it's interesting because the movie, they say it's a comedy or whatever, but it's not a comedy. It's not funny at all. Like I didn't find it funny. I found certain
There were some
moments
parts
funny,
where-
yeah,
Yeah.
but for the most part, it's pretty dark. Like he tries to kill himself with carbon monoxide sitting in a car. The kid comes out. The kid, I mean, this kid is like completely oblivious. He just talks to him friendly, like, and then eventually the only reason why the main character snaps out of it and like doesn't kill himself at that point, doesn't suffocate from carbon monoxide poisoning, is because he thinks like, why do you have a black eye, kid? And then that's how he like snaps out of it, and you know, from that point on, it gets better for him. And you know, that's where he like starts caring about the kid and all that. And I like that part. I did like the fact that he has this character arc. I thought that the ending would have been better if he actually did die. I think it was a bit unrealistic that he got shot 9 times, and yet
they poked fun at it. I mean, they poked fun at it though. Like, oh yeah, I got shot 8 times. Luckily, none of them hit a vital organ.
I don't know. It would have had more weight if he stayed dead.
It's true.
But I think again, I
didn't want it to be that kind of movie though.
The movie was going for something else. It's such a weird thing though, because again, and I hear there's 2 cuts actually. I was reading about which cut to watch, what's the recommendation.
Oh,
there were 2 cuts. There was the theatrical, which became the unrated one, and apparently that one is like more comedic. But then there's also the director's cut, which actually removes a lot of the funny moments and leaves only the darkness. And I did not watch that one, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe I'd enjoy that one.
I actually don't
more.
know which one I watched then.
I'm assuming the one that you watched would be longer, but already it wasn't that long because I watched the unrated one. I watched the theatrical, like the
whatever one I watched was an hour and 39 minutes.
Yeah, that's like the same one. Yeah, that was my runtime as well. But I think maybe the director's cut is shorter, but adds other things like, oh, he tries to kill himself again, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe someday I'll watch the director's cut just to see the difference, just to see if maybe I would actually prefer that one.
The darker one?
Yeah, because again, I thought that it should have veered into that direction more than it did. So it was jarring to me to see some of the moments. And again, they played it for laughs. Like they made it so that it didn't seem as serious, but ultimately I think, well, it is pretty serious. You can't really joke about that stuff and be like, yeah, it's all good.
I mean, I guess it would be interesting to see the darker one because, I mean, I think it was very clearly a comedy. I mean, just going down to the actors.
Well, even Bernie Mac, right?
Billy Bob Thornton, Bernie Mac. Yeah, I don't think it was...
All the stuff that he did in that movie was basically played for laughs. All of it.
Yeah. Bernie Mac, John Ritter... they even had some of the smaller parts with comedians, like the guy who was the first security guard.
Oh, he's a comedian?
He's a comedian. He did Mike and Molly with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, okay.
So, he was... Cloris Leachman was the grandma. You know, I don't know how she came up in the early days, but I mean, at the end of her life, she played exactly that crazy grandma role. Like she was in a TV show called Raising Hope, played kind of the same role, just a completely demented grandma. She was more active and more, crazier, but she
was spry.
Crazy role. Yeah, she was spry in that show.
I like that part. I like when he just questions the kid about all the stuff in the house. No, so those moments I like. I like the insanity behind him being able to break into stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's what I found jarring when you contrast it with the dark moments.
Yeah. No, there were definitely some questionable things. I really like the second half of the movie. I thought the second half was much better than the first half.
Yep, me too.
But it really didn't make sense that he really was he really was finding like a groove in his life, where he was starting to get along with the kid, and he had the girlfriend, which was another thing that completely was unrealistic.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking this kind of guy isn't getting that kind of girl. I get the Santa, maybe the Santa hat thing, but I mean, you get a Santa hat at a dollar store.
I feel like he
put it on any guy.
I feel like he would smell awful. Like, just think about it.
That's true.
He pees in his suit.
Yep.
It doesn't seem like he washes it or anything. Like, it does seem pretty dirty most of the time. He drinks like crazy, and so, he vomits as well. We've seen that he doesn't necessarily keep his liquor down.
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's so weird to me.
Yeah. But anyways, despite all that, like, he was starting to live like kind of a pretty good life in terms of, maybe a traditional happiness. And he was still getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm just like, I don't know how realistic this part is. Like,
The fact that he continued declining. I
yeah,
think it's actually a real testament to how bad alcoholism can be.
yeah,
Like it's clear that this guy's got a problem, like a drinking problem, and that affects him even when he's trying to do the heists, it affects him, but even more specifically like when he's just trying to be a good person. Cuz remember, the reason why he ripped up that advent calendar was because he didn't remember doing it after he was sober. So clearly it's the alcohol that made him do that and be an ass. But
yeah, absolutely.
it's a good movie when you want to show somebody, yeah, this is what happens sometimes when you succumb to alcoholism.
Yeah, and a rough childhood and all that kind of stuff.
That's true. I think that's part of the reason why alcoholism can start. In his case, it's because of the childhood. He started drinking to forget the pain, but that's how it spirals out of control.
That actually reminds me of that part where he's talking to the kid about, about manning up and all that kind of stuff. I thought was so funny when he said he brought the report card home and he said like, oh, I think that I can't remember what they were talking about, but he said something like, oh, because I'm a dipshit loser or whatever the kid said. Billy Bob Thornton's character went off on him, and he talked about his dad beating him and all that. And he said, if I ever talk like that, my dad beat me. You know why? And the kid goes, because he was mad because you peed on mommy's clean dishes or something like that. It was so out of pocket. It was just the dumbest line ever, but it was so unexpected, and I couldn't help but just laugh. The interaction between him and the kid, I thought was so good in its randomness.
And the interesting thing is that like normally I would hate that kid character, but I think the contrast between him and the Santa is like it added to the charm.
And I thought the boxing scene was funny.
That was probably one of my favorite scenes actually, when they just hit each other in the nuts. And
Yeah,
then they're all squirming.
well, really,
on
when the midget hit the kid, I was like, oh my god. I didn't think they'd, I get the kind of movie it is, but I didn't think they'd go there. But I thought it was funny. I always think about, okay, so these kind of movies, right? You get this little kid, and I don't know how old he is, really, but he was probably 9, 10 years old, right?
preteen. Yeah, definitely preteen.
And I'm just thinking, like, what kind of parent sits there, like, reads the script for their kid?
Because all the swearing as well,
or
right?
sits on the, that's what I mean. Or sits on the stage while he's doing these scenes with Billy Bob Thornton just fucking swearing up a storm. And goes, yeah, this is the kind of movie I want my fat awkward kid to be in. Like this isn't gonna end well for him. And I don't think he's done anything since then, obviously, but because I don't expect necessarily somebody who comes from that kind of a movie as a kid to grow up well adjusted.
Traumatized by such a movie. I mean,
Yeah.
I ask that because there's plenty of movies where there's like,
Oh, for sure.
there's violence and suffering and vulgarity, and the kids are kind of like central to it. Yeah, it's always interesting, especially when it's like really young ones. Because you kind of wonder, like, even like Dakota Fanning, she's been in enough movies like that, and when she was young, and it's like, how did she cope with that? How did they manage?
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought this one was pretty, especially egregious.
Probably, yeah,
with that,
because
so.
again, it was like the kid had a really prominent role. Despite everything, he was actually one of the main characters.
Yeah, he was around a lot of it. Yeah.
I wonder who played him, though. Let me see.
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure he was just some no name. Like, I think it even said on his Wikipedia page that he's really only known for.
Oh, he's a Canadian. Brett Kelly. Yeah, it's a Canadian actor.
He's 31 now.
His,
Oh my god.
His name was Thurman Merman.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your name's Thurman Merman.
What, there was a sequel? Bad Santa 2?
There was a Bad Santa
Wow.
too. Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. It has Kathy Bates in it. I wonder how that goes.
Oh, that's a good point. I would watch that just for Kathy Bates. I love Kathy Bates.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if she maybe phones it in. I don't know. I don't know how serious that movie was taken.
Kathy Bates does not phone in roles.
All right.
I've seen her in some garbage, man, and
She's the best part of it.
She saves the movie. She saves it. Yeah.
Ah, he played in Sandlot 2. I didn't know there was a Sandlot 2.
There's probably a reason for that too. So just a lot of little bit parts didn't really.
He plays in Family Law. It's Canadian legal drama, so maybe he's picked up on.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you gotta do something, right?
I don't even know what this is.
Well, it's just like a Law and Order show, probably.
Oh, is it?
Canadian one.
So then why would the kid be on it?
Well, he's a grown up now.
Well,
He's
I
playing
get
a
that,
lawyer.
but like, is he a lawyer?
I don't know. Maybe Cecil Patterson sounds like a lawyer.
What did Brett Kelly do with his life? Yeah, he looks like a good guy. He was on Jeopardy.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he did very well, but he still looks like he plays goofy characters.
Yeah, but that's fine. If I looked like I played goofy characters, I'd probably continue playing goofy characters. Like, despite everything, Jim Carrey, for the most part, played goofy characters.
Yeah.
He had serious roles too, but
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily mean in the same vein as that. But yeah, so there you go. So that was Bad Santa. King of the Hill, Bad Santa, or Pump Up the Volume.
it's still Pump Up the Volume. Bad Santa was not my favorite among the ones we watched. I would still say a few of the other ones, Gems Like Abduction, I think, top it. You know what?
I'm waiting until we get far. I'm waiting until we get far enough in this podcast that I don't have to hear about abduction
Man,
anymore.
but it just keeps calling to me like, man, I gotta watch Abduction
Why?
again.
You
It's
don't
that
have to
time
watch
of
Abduction
year.
again. Get it out of your mind and just stop thinking about it. It's not worth it. I'm gonna tell you right now, you've put more effort into thinking about Abduction than literally everybody else who's ever watched or been a part of Abduction combined.
Yeah, probably. That's what makes a fan. That's what makes a diehard fan.
Yep, it's true. Yeah, and for me, I will stick with Beautiful Boy. Like I said, I thought Bad Santa was all right. It has a lot of stuff that I don't really like in movies, but the second half was good. If it was all like the first half, I would have been like,
If it was all
garbage
just
movie.
stupid humor or attempts at humor, yeah, I think so.
Well, the really raunchy stuff, like I said, I think the second half started toning it down. The first half was, him in strip clubs and, banging a bartender with a Santa hat on. And, they didn't necessarily get rid of all of that in the second half, but the second half certainly had more story to it.
Yeah, it had more character growth. You actually wanted to see what happens, as opposed to the first one. It's like, I don't care about this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you want to actually. I don't know. I feel like when I ingest a piece of media, I want to either hate the main character, as in like I want to see something bad happen to them, or like I want to see what happens later on, even if I hate them. Or if it's a character that I like, I want to see what happens, what they do, how they progress. But in a case where it's like I am neutral about the character, where it's like, then there's no interest in that. That's why the second half needs to be there. Otherwise, what's the point? It's just like, okay, well, it's just like watching a YouTuber, basically. You're watching a YouTuber who has no character growth and is just doing stupid stuff.
Absolutely. So the second half redeemed it for me. So it was a good enough movie.
And it was short as well.
definitely not
I
the
was
top.
pleasantly surprised that it was, basically
Yeah, an hour and a
half.
half is so nice. Seems like every friggin' movie we get is like 2 hours long. And I'm just like, oh man.
Another reason why I thought, oh man, this must be from the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Exactly. All right. Well, why don't you tell us what is next up for us?
All right. Randomize. The Soloist with Jamie Foxx and Robert Downey Jr.
Okay. I think I've heard of this movie.
It says 2 of the year's best performances by, hold on, what does that say? Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone says that.
Musician who develops schizophrenia and becomes homeless.
Perfect.
There you go. Drama. It's a
Oh,
drama.
okay, never mind. I thought it was a comedy.
Yeah. Jamie Foxx, Robert Downey Jr., Catherine Keener, Tom Holland.
Tom Holland is in?
No, Tom Hollander is in it.
Oh,
I don't know who he
Hollander.
is, but
That's the evolved form of Tom Holland.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's even more Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Stephen Root is in it. I like Stephen Root. What's the critical response like? You know what? Worse than Bad Santa.
Yeah, but I think Bad Santa probably also gets a pass for a lot of people because it was apparently the stories by the Coen brothers.
Oh.
And they're a big deal for, people love all their stories, even though they're not really credited necessarily as it says, but apparently they did the story. They just didn't write it. I don't know how that works. I don't understand. Maybe they come up with the idea and then they're like, oh yeah, you can have my idea. Just make a story out of it or write it all down. But ultimately, I think a lot of that helps.
All right, so The Soloist is next up, 2009 drama film. So we'll watch that and get back to everybody.
Who knows? Maybe it's schizophrenia. It's always an interesting thing to try to tell a story about. I'm curious to see how they do it. I think one of the only other movies maybe the only other movie I saw that actually has like explicitly schizophrenia is A Beautiful Mind, which is like the John Nash story, right?
Yeah.
They don't necessarily do an accurate depiction, but they do an entertaining depiction. So if they do something interesting here, that's good too.
Well, we shall see. We shall see what Jamie Foxx and Robert Downey Jr. Are all about. All right. Well, on that note, why don't you tell us what our word of the fortnight is? Is this our first word of the fortnight?
No.
I believe it is.
No,
No, it's not. We did one on the 4th.
we
That's right.
did. Yeah. So the word this time around is sashay. Sashay. It's a verb. It means to strut or move about in an ostentatious or conspicuous manner. For example, the actress sashayed down the red carpet. And I saw this word while playing another Crab's Treasure.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Hilarious that you would see this in a game about crabs. But yeah, so it is. And I genuinely did not know what this word meant. So I looked up while playing this game. I looked it up, put down my controller and be like, what the hell does this word mean? Sometimes I'll be like, oh, the context means it's this. So I don't bother. But this one, I had to look it up.
So were they using it that way, or were they using it?
No, they used it this way.
Oh, okay.
I know that there's another definition. I think it's to do with like square dancing. But no, they didn't use it in that capacity. It was literally just somebody was walking around all pompous like.
All right. Well, there you go. So even in a game that you didn't necessarily like,
Yeah,
you got some use out of it.
I learned a lot. I mean, that's where we learned about the currency that crab-like creatures use
True.
in the deep.
That is true.
Microplastics. They're healthy.
Thank you, another Crab's Treasure. You are giving us value. Well, let's do some Pokemon. Do 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 do. We are judging Pokemon, legendary Pokemon plus Scyther, who really is just a legendary Pokemon.
At this point, he is
honest.
legendary. The fact that we've talked about Scyther more than any other Pokemon,
It's true.
despite never actually doing anything with Scyther until, well, perhaps not yet. I don't know. We might not even have heard his sound effect yet.
That's true.
But yeah, he definitely deserves that position at this point.
He's a legend. He's a legend on the Welcome World Wide Web podcast. You should incorporate him into our logo now at this point, really. Just
yeah. So that Nintendo can sue us, and
then we'll get. I was gonna say that we'll get promptly shut down by Nintendo.
No, but the best part is, if we get a lawsuit against us by Nintendo, we're gonna explode in popularity. Like we're gonna be the podcast that was shut down by money grubbing Nintendo, all because they were like big fans of Pokemon.
But then we just change our name. That's fine. But then we just change our name, and we're good to go.
Well, I mean,
we'll be famous.
The name is still okay. It's just the logo that I would change. I would basically make because one of the W's is green, so I would just change it to look like a Scyther.
There you go. You do it, we get famous. It's about time. Sorry to our viewers and to our 6 viewers in Indonesia, but we need a little bit more than that.
It's not actually 6 in Indonesia. It's probably the 1.
Whatever.
It's 6 across the world.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that's only on
we need
Spotify.
more than 6 across the world.
No, we have more. We have at least 8, I'm sure.
At least 8. I see. Okay, yeah, that was my line right there. It's not worth it if I only have 6, but 8.
8's pretty good.
Yeah,
8.
That keeps me.
8 is enough.
Me going. All right, there you go. All right, let's do some Pokemon. Here we go. We are on round 57. Well, we're on match 57 somewhere in the second round, and we don't know who these Pokemon are. You can find out on our website. And yeah, all right, let's do it. Between 30 and 94. Here we go. Here's number 30.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
We talk about Scyther though. Is that one actually did because it had the slashes?
Yeah, but it sounds like a cat.
But it doesn't. Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't actually sound like Scyther. Yeah, like the slashes kind of made it sound like it. But yeah, it sounds like a cat.
This is another one of those where it's like, which part is the cry?
True. Those slashes definitely didn't come from that Pokemon's mouth.
No, but do you also hear the potentially like a rumbling motor in the at the end of it?
Yeah, there's a rumble. There is a rumble, but that can be like a big cat. Big cats can do that.
Play it again. Yeah, you're right. Okay, fair enough. It doesn't have as much of a mechanical texture to it.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. No. All right, and here's 94.
Oh, yeah, this is the diesel engine. That's right. This is the generator.
Yeah.
These are both good.
Yeah, this is the revving up sound. Yeah.
I don't know. I like the revving up sound. That one is really good to me. It's the fact that some Pokemon has this as its cry, literally a generator from Alan Wake. I mean, come on.
That cat Pokemon though is
Hey, I know it's tempting. It's going to be hard.
cat sound is quite
I'm
tempting.
going to I don't know. I'm going to go with the generator, I think. But if you go with the other one,
Really?
it's going to be one of those where it's going to be a close one.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with 30. I'm gonna go with the cat sound. I quite like that sound. All right, so we're going to issue each one a rating, or we're gonna issue our favorite one, I guess, a rating. Raji's gonna. What do you want to be? Evens or odds?
I'll just be odds again.
All right, Raji's gonna be odds. I'm gonna be even. That keeps us from tying. All right, we're gonna rate it on 1 to 100, saying that the other sound is gonna be the difference in that. So it's not just a rating on 1 to 100. It's a ratio between the two sounds. But yeah, all right, here we go. I'm gonna choose. All right, here we go. Ready? I'm about to put it in. Go ahead and say yours.
55.
Oh, I went way higher. I went way
Okay.
higher.
You really
I
like that cat sound. All right.
I really like that cat sound. I really do like that cat sound. So, so the cat sound's moving on. Sorry, diesel engine.
So that's 30, right?
That's 30. Yeah. All right, here we go. Matchup 58 between 14 and 78. Here's 14. All right, we're back to the crystal cries.
Yes. Very iconic.
Back to the crystal cry. We're gonna find out like all those crystal cries were from the same generation.
The Crystal generation. Pokemon Crystal.
There you go. Maybe that's what it was. All right, in 78.
Hmm.
Those are two very different.
Yeah.
It's a very high pitched with a low roar.
I think that's why this one got a pass, because the previous one that was competing against it probably wasn't that good. But I don't really like that one. Play the first one again.
All right, the first one, number 14, is this.
Yeah, I mean, they're both kind of. I'm whatever.
Yeah,
So
they're both kind of trash.
whatever one you prefer, you take it. I don't care.
All right, let's do.
But they even sound similar if you think about it.
They really do.
They have the
similar.
same like
They really do
cadence.
sound similar. Yeah. All right, let's do 78.
All right.
Let's do 78. Why not? Because I like the lower ones.
Yeah,
rather
the
than
lower
crystal
ones-
one, even though it has a little bit of both. Yeah.
The Crystal one is a bit. It's too overplayed. Too many of them have that effect.
It's true. All right, matchup 59 between 19 and 83. Here's 19. All right. Well, that's the exact same as the last sound, except it doesn't have the extra.
That's such a boring
it.
sound effect.
It is. It really is. And here's 83.
Okay, this is more. This is okay. This one I don't mind. I'm gonna go with that one.
All right. I will also go with 83. Yeah, it's a little bit. There's at least a little bit going on in it. Kind of a birdie like cry, but there's like a trill in there.
It's like a drill bit going into metal.
There you go. Yep. Start drilling.
I
Bird.
think they actually no. I think Game Freak probably did just drill something, and that's how they got
drilled
it.
something.
It really
the
sounds like
sound.
it. But hold on, play the first one. I just want to give it some, because we only played it once, I think.
That's true. Okay, we'll give it another. Viewing.
It's so
There's nothing
it's so
to it. It
abrupt
just
as
abruptly
well.
stops.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of boring. I don't know. We're gonna have to see what that Pokemon is. Imagine that's like the best one, and it has this god awful sound effect.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really,
this
really,
is
it's probably just Mewtwo. Yeah, I was gonna say it really is probably just Mewtwo. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. No, that's not a. Yeah, it's not a very interesting sound. I mean, it's not made to its credit. It's not a made up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a super synthetic sound, and it doesn't got a bunch of
Yeah, but we're used to
weird
that.
things going on that wouldn't be a cry.
Who wouldn't
Yeah.
want a generator as their cry?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. When you compare it to the generator Pokemon, it's definitely more basic.
Or the dump truck?
Definitely more basic. That's right, or the dump truck. Yep. All right. Last match of the day, 60 between 6 and 70. Here's number 6.
It's just an airplane flying overhead with some crystalline sound effect at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like ringing a little bell or something.
It's Santa Claus. It's Santa Claus flying by
Yeah.
at a jet engine speed.
All right, and here's number 70.
Okay, this is like one of those sound effects that keeps going down but not actually going down.
It's like they're using a slide whistle.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like they're using a slide whistle on this one. And then they throw a little bit of extra. That's not good enough. Everybody knows what a slide whistle is. We have to actually make it sound like something else. And they were like, well, we'll synthesize. We'll throw a slide whistle through the synthesizer. See what comes out. All right, which one? All right, here's 6 again.
It really is just an airplane flying overhead. Like, just pause it before it gets to the last half a second. It literally is.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right.
I'm gonna go with the second one. I think it's a little bit more interesting. The slide whistle.
Yeah, I'll go with the second one too. It's a little more unique.
Some of these aren't really like. I mean, I get it. They won because the previous one was not as good. But
we're still firmly in the rounds where
they're not the
we're
best.
Just kind of sorting trash from trash.
But we're still gonna have that. Like even the next one, they're gonna be competing. These not so good ones are gonna be competing against each other. So we're still gonna have yet again another not so good one. It's a weird system actually if you think about it. But I guess that's how it should work in tournaments. I don't know. But for these sound effects, it doesn't make as much sense in my opinion because you're gonna have the cruft going ahead, while some of the really good ones compete against each other, and they get kicked out really early.
Well, you could always I don't know how it works on whatever you're tracking, but you can always re-randomize the third round.
Well, no, I mean I don't know how Challenge does it.
It doesn't really make a I don't know how feasible that is, but
because it's probably
it doesn't really
make
a difference if we follow a proper bracket. But because the third one won't have any new ones, right? Second one is the only one that has new ones.
Correct. Yeah. Most of these were buys actually. Yeah, like a lot of, I think every single match we had it had a buy.
Well, there we go. That's our week. So next week we do 61 through 64, just chugging away at round 2. Chugging away around. I don't know where round 3 starts, but
actually, the next week we will start round 3 next week.
Oh, we do start round 3 next week.
The last of the 4 will
64?
be. Yep, will be in the round 3.
All right.
So look forward to it.
3 next week. We'll be kicking it up a gear. Figure out your TikTok alternatives and keep yourself entertained. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for another exciting podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Ciao.